Hello, everyone. My name is True Pettigrew, and I am the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx. And I am so excited to have you all joining us today on this live stream. Special shout out to Alumni Roundup Group for partnering with us and making this possible. I believe for those of you that have joined, you receive the information that we will be doing live stream chats with Black leaders and executives across 5 different teams throughout the NBA over the next 5 days, starting today, because the NBA is looking to create opportunities, to create pathways to employment for HBCU students. And so we want to make sure you are fully aware of the different opportunities that exist in the NBA, and we want to provide you with as much insight and perspective as we can from leaders and executives that are already working in the NBA across different leagues. Across different teams across the league. And so today I'm excited to have someone from the team that I get to proudly represent, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and a great friend, a great leader, gentleman by the name of Mr. Will Eason, who is an account executive with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he is going to join us today and share some insights and perspectives with you all. I will ask Will some questions, and then after I've had the chance to ask Will some questions, I'll be looking in the chat to receive some questions from some of you all so that you can ask Will questions about how he got to where he is, how he became an account executive in the National Basketball Association. So, Will, how are you, sir? How are you?
True. I'm wonderful, man. I appreciate the opportunity. How are you doing this early morning, early evening rather?
Oh man, life is good, man. Life is good. I'm feeling good, feeling great, man. Excited for the opportunity to have this conversation with you and really help equip and prepare some HBCU students to understand how they could create their own pathway, blaze their own trail to be an executive at some point in the National Basketball Association, much like you've done, right? An HBCU student yourself. So tell us a little bit about you, Will. Tell us what you do for the Timberwolves, where you're originally from. And if I'm not mistaken, as I said, I believe you are an HBCU alumni, and where you went to school.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so my name is Will Eason. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. Um, uh, Going to college, I originally attended North Carolina State University, and I ended up transferring and attended Hampton University. My time at Hampton was amazing. I was able to connect and meet a lot of great people that are still in my life today. At Hampton, that was really the time I was really able to evaluate my life. I was a former student athlete. I played football. So growing up, that's all I put my focus into. And when I got to Hampton, I really realized, there's a lot more out there than football, and my potential, the ceiling was pretty high for me, and I just had to, use my resources and really put in the work to do it. So that's kind of how I ended up here in this position that I am now. First of all, I'm blessed to even have this opportunity to be sitting in this chair, here with this organization underneath the leadership of people like True. So some of the things I do on a day-to-day basis are helping some different business development aspects when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves in regards to sales and different things that we can pretty much incorporate the community and kind of figure out what's going on out there and expand the Minnesota Timberwolves organization.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And much like yourself, I never really saw myself working in the NBA, but understood the importance of a strong work ethic and working hard and pursuing the things that I did want out of life. And, as the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx, it truly is a blessing to be able to do something at this level that can make an impact on the lives of so many other people. And to be able to do it with a platform that we have at the Timberwolves and the Lynx, and really throughout the league, throughout the NBA. So, is this something that you always thought you would be doing? So, when you were at Hampton, right? You were at Hampton, you were a student, and I know you love sports, you played sports. Did you see yourself working in the NBA one day?
To be completely honest with you, True, no, I did not. If you would have asked me 2 to 3 years ago, could I, Will, you're going to be working in the NBA, I probably would be laughing at you because, that's something that just never crossed my mind. But like you said, just something that I wanted for me, myself, and my life is what led me here. And I'm a sports type of guy, so I played football, and a lot of people was like, "Oh, you're about to go work in the NBA," but I always, had a passion and love for basketball as well. So
Okay. So, for someone that is where you once were, not too long ago, just several years ago, HBCU student, you were at Hampton. We have HBCU students from across the country right now that are listening in on this. What's something that you would tell them that you think is important that they should be focusing on right now while they're still in school, if they have aspirations, dreams, and aspirations of working in the NBA one day?
yeah, definitely. My number one thing I would recommend and say to them is one, always be yourself. No matter what room you step in, be true to your character, be true to the principles that you live by. You know, just be yourself, be true to yourself. That's the number one thing. And then number two is relationships. Always treat people the right way. You never know who might be able to crack a door open for you or open a door for you for that next opportunity. So you never want to treat somebody bad, just that's not how I was raised. So that's something that definitely helped propel me to where I'm at right now is just the relationships, the people that I met throughout my life, and me always treating them well and treating them good and being a man of my word has helped a lot of people back be in my corner. And now I have a lot of resources that, I could lean on and rely on, a lot of mentors that are in my corner, helping me guide and lead me to, the path of success.
No, that's so. Thank you for sharing that, Will. Man, I think that's so important. Is recognizing the value that you bring into other people's lives, and always looking at life and the relationships through the lens of how can I add value to other people's lives and treating people right and treating people with respect, because that pays itself back. Like that really does help you to reap a harvest, as they say, right? So when you're planting those seeds in other people, it does pay dividends. And I don't know if people truly understand the importance of that. And I really believe a large reason that doors were opened for me throughout my journey is because I always focused on how can I add value to the lives of the people that I'm around. And that I won't say never, that wouldn't be true, but I learned over time the importance of not going into situations and scenarios looking for what I can get out of it, looking for what I can get from different people. But I always went into not, well, again, not always, because early on, if I'm being honest, I was like, what can I get out of this? I mean, because I think we're taught, right? I think we're taught, get the most you can out of this world, get the most you can out of every situation before it's too late, before it's gone, before you leave this place. But I learned early on that where you reap the most when you focused on how much you can contribute, not necessarily how much you can get. And when I started focusing on how much value I can contribute to the lives of others, that's when so many doors began to open for me. And it sounds like you've had a similar experience. What what is the thing that you appreciate most about working in the NBA? And then I'm also going to follow that up with what is something that you find the most challenging. But what is something that you really enjoy or appreciate the most about working in the NBA?
So, one thing I enjoy the most about working in the NBA is one, the NBA is an organization that has been around for, 75 years, and it's something that's way bigger than me. So, I'm just so fortunate and so blessed to have an opportunity to take part in such a legendary corporations such as the National Basketball Association, and even to get more detailed, true. I'm even more fortunate to be working with an organization like the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx. The staff and the people that are here are amazing. A kid from Charlotte, North Carolina, 23 years old, moving all the way to Minneapolis, and I pretty much, feel like I'm at home just by the way people have treated me within the organization. And I know that starts with the leaders and the obviously the people who work here, the staff. That my team is amazing, and I'm very thankful to wake up every day and work with them. So it's been really awesome. And then the follow up question to your question, True, is the most challenging thing is obviously for me, being a minority, being a low percentage within this, not just this organization, but the NBA in general. You don't see a lot of mixed, diverse, within the NBA on the business side of things. Of course, on the athletic side, you see a lot of diversity, you see a lot of African Americans, but on the business side of things, you don't see quite the same. So I feel like that's the biggest challenge for me is to understand why things are like that. And that's why, I'm following up with people like you and other people in the community to figure out what I can do on my end to help change that, because there's definitely, space for us within the NBA and within different organizations, and we just need an opportunity. So that's really like the biggest challenge for me. I've been fortunate enough to meet the right people to help me get here, but a lot of people don't have those resources. So the most challenging part from my eyes is just the opportunity for minorities.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, Will. And one of the reasons that the NBA has even established this HBCU fellowship program is to help create a pathway to employment and career opportunities into the NBA, to help diversify the NBA, particularly on the business side of things. To your point, I think most people, when they look at the league, they see a lot of African American males and females, whether it's the NBA or the WNBA, right? And so they see that diversity on the court. Um, but I don't know, to your point, that many people understand all the other opportunities and careers that exist outside of being a player or being a coach. I don't know if they see all the things you're talking about, the business side. They don't know that there's a sales and services department or an IT department or a marketing department or a social responsibility department, right? Or a content department, like, or graphic designs, and all of these different roles and functions, or even in my discipline with diversity, equity, and inclusion, that these are all real opportunities in the NBA at each team, across the entire league, that all of these opportunities exist. And but at the same time, we realize the need to diversify these departments across all the teams, right? And so that's one of the reasons why the NBA is even initiating this fellowship. What did you find that surprising when coming from an HBCU, right? Did you find that surprising when you stepped into the NBA and realized it wasn't as diverse as you may have once thought it was? And I think, and then I will say this: I think the NBA is doing uh, a good job, but at the same time understands that there is room for improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I would say I was kind of surprised just because I was in the same shoes as current HBCU students, and from the outside looking in, like you said, we see a lot of the players and a lot of sometimes the coaches, are minorities, African Americans. So from the outside looking in, that's your perspective of, oh, that's who works in the NBA. So coming here and working in the business side of the front office, you definitely get another side, which is very important. Without this side, there is no organization. You need both sides to have an organization. So once I saw, the limited minority working in the business side, it was a little bit shocking, but it definitely opened my eyes as well to help, for me to figure out, why is this like that? Because I know I went to school with a lot of smart African brothers and sisters who can definitely are capable to handle a job, with any organization, not just in the NBA.
Very well said, man. Very well said. Knowing that there's so much capable talent out there, such a rich pool of talent in our HBCUs across the country, right? And it does make you wonder sometimes, why aren't more organizations tapping into that rich and diverse pool of talent? So you mentioned earlier about, being in the minority on the business side of the NBA. But you also talked about being in the minority in a market like, Minnesota, right? So how do you navigate that? What helps you? Because the reality is, and just from the work that I do in diversity, equity, and inclusion, understanding that things like imposter syndrome is real. Things like stereotype threat are real when we show up in certain places and spaces, and we are in the minority. uh, it can cause you to feel like, wow, do I really belong here? Should I be here? And we may even deal with some stings of microaggressions that may come our way with people, whether it is intentional or unintentional. And so it can be challenging to achieve that long term success and sustainability in the workplace when you are in the minority. How do you navigate that? How have you been able to manage that?
Yeah, so like I said, True, when we first started this conversation, um, I feel like if you're always true to yourself and you be the person who you say you are, I feel like you can really overcome, no any environment that you're put in, So for me, that was my number one thing, is just being, who I am, not trying to be anybody else. I want to be Will Eason because that's the person who I am. And then number two is really the people that I have around me. I have great family and friends who surround me and who encourage me and who motivate me. So, it makes it easy for me to, come in and continue regardless if I know I'm a minority. And, some days I do have struggles, but, I know that I have family and friends that are looking up to me, and that, vice versa, I'm looking up to them, and we motivate each other to be great. So, I feel like my circle is definitely what keeps me in line, especially like you said, not only just the market of NBA, but the market of being in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So being out here is definitely been a challenge, but that's some of the things that have been making it a lot easier on me.
Right. No. Yeah, having that support system is really important, and I think that applies to whatever organization you are with. If we find ourselves being in the minority, so that we can help overcome any imposter syndrome that may kind of attempt to overtake us. And I just want to say right now to you and anyone else that's listening, you are enough, and wherever you show up, you belong there. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. Like, I'm saying that to you, Will, brother, you are enough and you belong here. Anyone else that's listening, when you walk through the doors of whatever team you walk through, when you secure the fellowship this summer, when you walk through the doors of whatever organization you may start your career off with, in the NBA or otherwise, you are enough and you belong there. Surround yourself by people who want more for you than they want from you. I think that is the key, because we talk about being courageous oftentimes, and I think it's important that we all understand. And for all those that are listening, please hear me when I say this. We when we tell any others to be courageous, when we want you to be courageous and take those bold steps, that's so important. But also recognizing that courage oftentimes comes from external sources. Even, Will, as you talked about that, being surrounded by the right people, right? That courage that we often need isn't that easily conjured up from within. More often than not, it comes from knowing that we are surrounded by people who will pick us up if we fall, people who will help us course correct if we get misguided, people who are going to encourage us when we feel discouraged. That comes from those external sources more often than not. So I think it's important to remember that none of us can do this alone, and none of us should be expected to do this alone. Make sure you are surrounded by people who want more for you than they want from you. Right. So let me ask you this. Well, speaking of people that want more for you, and sometimes people that want things from you, right? What have you gotten the most since you've been working in the NBA? What have family and friends asked of you the most?
Um, it's definitely been a little bit mixture, but it hasn't been too bad. I feel like me being in a different environment, it's definitely made it a lot easier, versus me staying in the East Coast region and having a lot of people have access to me. So I feel like being out here, it definitely really showed me who's really there for me, not there for what I could get for them. So my circle definitely got a lot clearer ever since I moved out here.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I do want to say to those that are listening in and viewing the live stream, please, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. I'll start to monitor the chat. If you have questions for Will or myself, please, by all means, go ahead and type them in the chat. And I hope I'm saying your name right, Sante, but thank you for being here. HU, stand up. I'm sorry, Will. I mean, offend. And when I say HU, I know you're a Hampton man, but this 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 person is from Howard, so I don't. I'm gonna just go and say Howard. I don't want to cause no problems. I don't want no problems
Yeah,
out here in these
yeah,
virtual
let's not do
streets.
that.
Yeah. But I see Howard in the building stand up, and so and yeah, and if you're listening in or watching this live stream, shout out your school, shout out your HBCU, and please share any questions that you may have for Will. And we also want to encourage you all to please apply for this fellowship. Please apply for this fellowship. You can go to nbafoundation.com. You can go to nba.com. Please apply for this fellowship. The deadline is February 20th. Please, so today is the 15th. You've got 5 days. The deadline is February 20th. Please apply. We will be doing these live streams every day this week. We have one today. We'll have one tomorrow. We'll have one Thursday, one Friday, and finish it up on Saturday. So we will create opportunities for you to hear from black leaders and black executives across the league to give you some ideas as to what it's like, what it will take for you to secure this fellowship and ultimately secure a role and establish a career in the NBA. So, well, let me ask you, what has surprised you the most? I know you talked about, one of the things that surprised you was that it was not as diverse as you thought it would be on the business side. Uh, I don't know if that has surprised you the most, but outside of that, what has surprised you the most about working for the NBA?
Um, Something that has surprised me the most is really the structure of the NBA. Like, it's really so many keys and parts to the structure of the NBA and every organization within the NBA. And that was really the biggest surprise to me. I feel like a lot of people really don't understand, like you were mentioning earlier, True, how many opportunities, that are in this space. There's a lot of different things that people can do to work for an organization within the NBA. So I feel like that was definitely the biggest shock to me, is just the opportunities, like how many opportunities there really are. From the outside looking in, it really doesn't look like you only see like 13 players, five coaches, so you don't think it's that many people, but it's really a whole team behind what you just see on TV. So that was the biggest shock for me.
No, no, I know, right? Similar to me, right? Coming in, really understanding the structure that exists. It's like a corporation, like any other corporation, right? From the leadership through every department, all of the different departments, and how multifaceted it is. Although people only see what they see on TV during the games with the players and the coaches, there is so much more, from corporate partnerships, right? Into what that's what's involved with that, from everything you see in the arena, the fan experience, the in arena experience, right? The opportunities for suppliers and vendors. One of the areas that I focus on is supplier diversity and all of the different suppliers and vendors that we work with. Like, it is a truly a well-oiled machine, if you will, with all of the moving parts that really makes a team operate and a team function at a really high level. So on a day-to-day basis, I mean, I know in your role, you probably touch a lot of the different departments. I mean, talk to me a little bit about what that experience is like for those that may be interested in pursuing a career along the same path as yours, right? I mean, sales and services, I believe, is the department that you're in, but you interact with the folks from marketing, you interact with the folks from social responsibility, you interact with our fans quite a bit. You have some interaction with our corporate partners. Like, you kind of touch it all, right? Talk to me a little bit about what your day to day is, and what do you like most about that. But give our listeners a little understanding about what your day to day looks like, and then I want to know what you enjoy most about your job.
Yeah, so definitely, the day to day, it one thing about sports, and you could probably attest to this, true, is um, every day is not going to be the same. Every day is a new day. Something is new, every single day. So that's something, I really enjoy. I'm a type of person where I enjoy, doing stuff and constantly, figuring out, the next step. And that's really how it is working in the sports industry. And I feel like on a day to day for me is mostly like you said, engaging with the community, kind of getting a feel on, how the community is feeling about the organization right now, and really using that to help, drive and figure out, what are some of our weaknesses and what are some of our strengths, and really, figure those things out, and kind of perfect those things for such as in-game experiences. And we want to make sure that anybody who comes to Target Center, or to any Minnesota Lynx or Timberwolves games, has a time of their life, and it's an experience to remember. So that's something that I really do on a day-to-day basis. I know that's kind of broad, but like as you mentioned, I work with so many different teams and so many different departments on a day-to-day basis, and I really enjoy that, because I feel like for me, coming from an HBCU and coming from a different background, I can bring a different perspective and different look on, a lot of things that are going on in the community, and a lot of things that we're doing in the organization. And I feel like uh, something I enjoy the most out of all of this is just, if you're a type of person who either one loves sports, or two love to make connections and relationships, and I love both. This is a perfect environment for you, because you're going to meet people from all different backgrounds, who came from a different school, studied something a little bit different, but we are all working together. So as you mentioned, I could be working with somebody from the marketing department who doesn't have, never been to Charlotte, North Carolina before, but it's okay, because we're working as a team together now. So, I'm getting to understand their perspective on certain things, and they're getting to understand mine. And I feel like, once people really understand it and want to live and learn life like that, I feel like everybody, not just our organization, will be stronger, but everybody in walking in today's life will be stronger.
I love it, man. Stronger together, right? And being in inclusion, I'm a big advocate for coming together, right? I don't think there's much we can't accomplish if we as long as we do it together. And that's what I'm hearing from you, is you really enjoy the kind of cross-functional opportunities that you have with all the different departments, that you get to touch and interact with all the different departments, including our fan base, right? And so, no, that's a huge plus. And
Yeah.
as we're about to wrap up, I do see one question I want to make sure we address, and it's from, and I hope I pronounce your name right. I believe it's Zarek Thompson from Winston-Salem State University. NC is in the building, right? NC is in the building. Are
Yes.
there any opportunities for computer science majors inside the NBA? And Zarek, the answer is absolutely yes. We have an entire IT department that helps make this entire organization run, right? Everything has become so digitized, and we're even what we're doing right now on this virtual platform. So there is huge opportunity for anyone in computer science, any marketing, any IT professionals. So if you are in the computer science or IT space, huge opportunities. So please apply today. Apply right away. So we are at our time. Thank you for everyone that tuned in to hear from my friend, the account executive. That's what I'm gonna call you from now on when I see you in the hallways. The account executive, my man, my friend, my guy, Mr. Will Eason. Will, thank you so much, man, for sharing the gift of your time with us today. I'm sure everyone that's listening, even if those that may be just watching the replay, are going to get a lot out of what you shared. And you represented HU well, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and start a little something before we sign off.
Yes,
But
sir.
you
Yes,
represented
sir.
Hampton University well, brother. Hey,
I
thank you,
appreciate that,
Will.
Drew.
Appreciate it. Much love and continued success on your career with the NBA.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Drew.
All right. Apply today. Apply today. Apply today, please. We want you. The NBA wants you, HBCU students. Let's make it happen.